Hi, welcome to this Excel tutorial video, and today we're going to talk about conditional formatting. So conditional formatting is a way of changing the appearance and format of a cell depending on a particular condition or a particular bit of logic. This video was recorded in July 2021 using Excel 365. So on screen I've got a made up set of data, and what's kind of good about this data is there's various different data types on here. So we've got numbers, we've got dates, we've got text, and we're going to use those different data types in our examples of conditional formatting, and we're going to go through quite a few examples here. So we're in the Home tab, and we've got this little drop down here called conditional formatting, and you apply conditional formatting to cells or a range of cells. So you've got to have them highlighted. Grab the cells highlighted where you want to apply the formatting. So let's begin with highlighting a set of cells. Let's highlight that. And let's look at the first example. So the first example I want to talk about is one of these top bottom rules. So here we've got some predetermined rules that Excel kind of provide out the box. One of them is called above average. And what this will do is it will calculate the average of all of those numbers that I've got highlighted, and it will highlight those values that are above average. So if I just click on above average here, it gives us an option now of saying, all right, how do you want the data to be displayed if they kind of fall into that condition. So let's say we want it to be green. So let's click green and OK. Now immediately we've got some cells that are highlighted in green. What's kind of cool about this is dynamic. So right now the average is, if I just go down here, the average is 34475. You can see down here in the status bar. But if I were to change figures here, well, the average is going to differ, and so the highlight should change as well. So if I change this value to 1000, say, this has now gone green, and this 350 is now no longer green because it isn't above average. So if we just go back here and we change that back to what it was, I can highlight the same amount of cells here, and I can say you can apply double, as many kind of formatting rules as you like to this. So if I click back on here and I go to below average, and I say I want the below averages to be yellow. Oh, click OK. So now you can see we've got green and yellow. So all of these values are going to be one or the other because logically they're either going to be above or below average. So if I now change this again to 1000, you can see this has gone green and that 350 has gone orange because the values have changed, and the conditional formatting is dynamic and changes with those values. All right, that's pretty good. So let's use this same column and let's do something else. So I'm going to highlight that. First of all, I want to get rid of the current conditional formatting settings for these columns. So if I just go down here to clear rules, I've got an option of clearing rules on the selected cells or clearing the entire sheet. In this example, it doesn't matter at the minute because I've only got rules on those cells, so I'll just select that. Okay, so all the conditional formatting is now gone. Let's highlight them again, and let's choose something different. So we've got this thing called color scales, and color scales will create exactly what it says, a color scale going from one color to another, going from highest to lowest. So here we've got a color scale called green, yellow, red. So it goes from the highest is green, the lowest is red. And if I wanted that kind of to be the other way around, to the right I've got an option of red, yellow, green. So the highest number is red and the lowest number is green. So that's pretty good. It depends on whether high is good or bad, depending on whether you want it to be green, yellow, red, or red, yellow, green. So we highlight that. Now all of these colours are changing gradually depending on the value and depending on the values, and again it's all dynamic. So if I were to change this to 1000, right now it's very red. If I change this to 1000, it goes more green because it's going up to the higher end of the range. So I'll put it to 30. And this works in dates as well. So if I go to these dates here and I go to colour scales, and I'll select a different one here, maybe this yellow to green. So we've got the lowest date being yellow and the highest date being green, and then all of the kind of gradients in between. And if I were to change the order of the data here, so maybe I'll just change the order, you see that the cells are still keeping their gradient depending on the value. It's not necessarily dependent on the the flow of the data here. So I want to put that back into date order. Alright, so that's pretty good. A couple of good examples there. Now let me highlight this, and we'll get rid of, go back to home, and we'll get rid of the formatting in these cells. So we go to clear rules from selected cells. So now what I want to do in here is I want to go to my conditional formatting, got highlight cell rules, and this is a data column, so I can utilize this greater than option. So if I click on here, I can say right, greater than. I've now got I've got to make a selection here to say highlight cells or format cells that are greater than this value. So let's say greater than 500, and we'll say we'll make them green. Okay. It's exactly the same as the previous example. So if I go to here and I change this to be 501, and if I change it to be 499, in fact if I change it to be 500, it should stay white as well. Yeah. So if it's over 500, then it goes green. Okay, so that's just another option. And like I said, you can have multiple examples of this. So greater than 500, make it this color. Greater than 1,000, make it this color. That sort of thing. Now a couple more examples I want to go through. So I'm going to highlight this set of cells here, so the text, and I'm going to go to formatting, highlight cells, and I'm going to say highlight cells equal to. So in this column, we're only ever going to have yes or no. So let's say that no isn't what we want to see. So no means our invoices haven't been paid according to this column. So if we say format cells that are equal to, and in this box I'm going to put no, and I've got red with dark red text. That's exactly what I want, so that's good. Click OK on that. And while they're still highlighted, I'm going to click on format cells, highlight equal to, and I'm going to change this to be yes. And you can see now everything's red, but actually no, I want that to be green if it's yes. And I'm going to click OK. That's pretty good. And again, it's dynamic, so when that gets paid, if I type a yes in here, it goes green. And actually I'm incorrect. I press no, it goes to red. And what's quite cool now with this is, if I go to here and I go to data and filter, you can now filter based on the colors. So you can filter on yes or no, but you can filter based on the colors. So with this example here, anything over 500 is green. So if I click on this drop down, I can filter and say show me anything that's green. So that's pretty good, all based on conditional formatting results. So let's get rid of that. Now all the examples we've done is we've formatted cells based on their own value. So now let's try and format a cell based on the value of something else. So if I highlight all of these cells here, and let's go back to home, back to our conditional formatting, and we go to highlight cell rules. We've got an option here of more rules, and in this example I'm going to say use a formula to determine which cells to format. Okay, so we're going to format the cells that are highlighted, but we're going to base it on a particular formula. So we're going to say the formula is going to be equals. Let me explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to format these based on this being either yes or no. So it's based on the value in E. So I've highlighted this cell, and the top one, you can see that A2 is white and the rest of them are grey. So A2 is kind of what in all of that range, A2 is kind of the highlighted cell. So I'm going to say here equals E2 equals yes. Okay, so what this is saying is if E2 equals yes, then my condition's true, and I'm going to apply this formatting. So I click on format, and then I've got options of fill, border, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to say, let's make it yellow. Okay, not going to do anything with the font, just nice and simple, make the background yellow. So I click OK. Now you can see that anywhere that is green here, anywhere that is yes, has made that yellow. So that conditional formatting, I said E2 equals yes, but as it's applied it to all of these cells, it's referred this to E2, but this one it's gone to E3 and E4, and it's done kind of it's referenced the rows that it's actually that the cell's actually on. So E4, E5, E6. So that's, it's pretty cool. It kind of knows what it's doing. But let's imagine then we have a value here, and this value is yes. Let's imagine we want it to highlight based on this value. So it's not necessarily based on a value on the same row. It's based on this value here. So let us click on this, and we'll go to conditional formatting, highlight, and more rules. So we're going to say again, use a formula to determine which cells to format, and we're going to say equals, and in this case we're going to say H2 equals yes, because that's what we're interested in. But what this will do is this will be H2, but it will make this H3, H4, H5, unless we put this $sign here, which means don't change that, the number following that $sign, don't change it. So don't change the row reference, always keep it at 2. And if H2 is yes, then we'll make the background blue. Click OK, and hopefully and if I say that to be no. Okay, I hope that made sense. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. Any feedback is appreciated. I hope this was helpful. Thanks very much for your time. See you next time.